What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. We're out here in the garage tonight trying to get a game plan for tomorrow so I can get some work done out here in the garage tomorrow. On Monday, on Martin Luther King's Day, I will be out here working in the garage trying to get some stuff done, working on the red truck. We got got some parts that finally came in and all that. So we're going to be able to get some work done tomorrow and see how much we can get done. I'm going to try to work on the truck for the next 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks of January, I'm going to try to see what we can get done on this before February, and then I'm going to start on the boat in February. Try to get some stuff done on it because we are getting really close for that to start getting done. Since February is going to be kind of a short month, and I believe March is going to be a short month. So I think those 2 months are going to be the shortest months, I think, but I might be wrong. So we're going to start working on the boat starting in February, trying to get some stuff done. So we will be taking a little bit of a pause on the truck. So I know I said that in the last video. We were just waiting for some parts. Well, we got some parts that came in and all that. So we're going to try to get some stuff done tomorrow on this and get accomplished. See how much we can get accomplished on the truck tomorrow and all that. And then whatever I can get done tomorrow, then we are going to start taking a stab at that transmission. I'm going to get it all tore down and try to get the output shaft and the tail shaft all situated. So I'm going to start working on that. That'll probably be on next weekend's agenda, where I can be out here in the garage. I'll close everything up, lock everything up, so that way I can have peace and quiet, no disruptions, and all that. So, but let me give you guys an update on the truck, and then I'll kind of give you guys a little bit of an update on the boat, where we're at, what's going on with it, and what the plan is for that when I start working on it, and all that. So, like I said, we got some parts in. The radiator finally came in. The wiring harness finally came in. Got my other head gasket, other set of bolts to get the heads bolted down. The power steering pump. Also got the water pump that we have on here. I already got that mounted. I am going to have to get the water pump spacers to space the water pump out to make the serpentine belt work like it should, because the water pump sits in on this one, sits a little too far. But again, they do make water pump spacers, because this water pump is for a Camaro GTO that has the LS motor and stuff in it. So they do have the spacers that will space it out to make it line up for the belt to line up for the truck setup. So I got that mounted, and I'll show you what is going on with that and all that. So I do have the radiator kind of sitting in there. We're going to have to do some slight modifications to the support to make it fit and correctly and sits in there properly, because it's not really sitting in there just like it should. So I'm going to have to do some slight modifications to get that to work, but that'll probably be a little bit later down in these last 2 weeks of January. We're going to try to see what we can get done with this and all that. So yeah, let me show you the parts that we got that came in. Here is the new wiring harness that we need for this and all that. So because I know the last time that we, again, the last wiring harness we had was for the drive-by cable, and this is for the drive-by wiring harness. So, and the two connectors that we needed are up here somewhere. I'll get that down tomorrow and kind of run over that, show you the two wires that we need. There's one connector that is different, that is kind of concerning, but I think I kind of got an idea how to fix that, because this connector right here is for the knock sensor. That's underneath the intake, and the connector for the knock sensor on the wiring harness is different from this one. So what I'm thinking about doing is getting the Deutsch connector kit, and once I get the new wiring harness for the the knock sensors and the new knock sensors, I will get the Deutsch connector kit, and I will cut these and cut the end off the wiring harness and change the connector on that. But other than that, I believe everything else looks like it'll work. I just kind of took a quickly glance at it, and looks like that's going to work for what we need. Just a couple little changes there, but that's the only change that I see on the wiring harness that we'll have to do, which is no big deal. I'll make it work and all that. So it's got the plug for the transmission, the 4L60E transmission, and as far as I know, everything for the mass airflow, map sensor, alternator, temp, and all that. So looks like everything's there. I just got to figure that all out. So which is no big deal. And we also, here's some of the other parts and goodies that we have. So I got both head gaskets. That's with the one head gasket. This is the other one that just came in. Both boxes here for both head bolts. New power steering pump. And we also got the Aeromotive 1000 fuel pump. And also got the radiator. So here's the radiator. Cold Case did this radiator. Came with the fans and all that with it. So this radiator is made for this truck for doing the LS swap. So as you can, the only thing that I see is that neck on the radiator, where the radiator cap sits up a little high. So at some point, I'm going to have to test fit the hood back on here and see if I'm going to have to notch the bracing, a little section of the bracing for that radiator cap to fit. So first of all, I'm going to get the radiator to fit in there, get it close enough to fitting, and then I will get the hood set back on there and see if we need to notch that and kind of trim, if there's a bracing that we need to notch that around to clear that. So that will happen later down the road and all that, and do all that. So right now I probably won't worry about that. I'll probably end up pulling that back out. I need to make some cut marks, because you can see right there, that lip, this bracket, the shroud for the electric fans, it looks like is hitting on this lip that goes underneath there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably cut it here, and then I'll probably cut it there on the other side, and probably just take that lip out for that to sit down. And then I believe these indents that they have here in the bottom of the support, radiator support, is having an effect on it sitting in there kind of crooked and all that, because this side right here sits pretty close. That side over there sits out a little further, as you can see how it's sitting. So I'm thinking there's these indents that go across is playing an effect on that. So once I get to that, I'll pull the radiator back out and do some marks and see where it's hitting, and then see where I need to trim and cut and make that radiator fit in there nice and snug. So pretty happy with that. And then I'm gonna wire it up. I'm trying to figure out how I want to wire that up so that way it comes on like it's supposed to, or if I should go ahead, or if I should just put a toggle switch to flip those on when it needs to. But I had a couple people tell me to wire it up so that way once it gets to a certain temperature, those automatically kick on. So I'm kind of back and forth, so we'll see what we can do about those to get those wired up to the computer to when it gets to a certain temperature, it will kick on. So if I can't get that figured out, then I will put a switch to flip those both on to make those work. So, and then here is the water pump that we installed. Let me run around to the other side so you can get a better look at this water pump. Okay, so here is the new water pump. As you remember, on the old water pump, this was right here, and it was coming out right here, so it's hitting pretty close to the throttle body. So we got this. This water pump is for a Camaro, Firebird, and a GTO 2006 GTO. So we get that, and as you can kind of see on the pulleys, that it does not line up like it should. So there is spacers that go in between here that will actually take the water pump and space it out, because this curve right here is pretty much right in the middle of the power steering pump pulley. And then I will also have to change this because once the water pump gets spaced out, this will actually be out further. So I did find the correct one that will actually set in and will work. So yeah, we're gonna have to, sorry about that. I had my heater came on in the garage. It is freaking cold here in Colorado. We're kind of having our first little really good freeze of the year, so the heater's been going pretty good. Excuse me. It's going pretty good today, so I do have the spacers coming, and then that tensioner coming for that to get that adjusted and get that set up. So that's where we're at. And here is, let me show you this fuel pump. I've actually had this fuel pump sitting around here for actually quite a while, because I originally got this fuel pump for when I was putting that together, and decided not to do that because this fuel pump, you have to run a return line and all that. And at the time when I started to build the boat, I got in a hurry, and I did not want to fool with running a return line and having an issue with, or dealing with that, running the return line for the fuel, and didn't know how to get the return line done, since the fuel tanks didn't have the plugs in the tanks for me to do the return line. So I was gonna send it back, but then I decided I better wait before I make that decision and stuff, and it's all that. So it's been sitting on the shelf, and was going to use it for that project right there, but that's going to be a little bit before that project gets done. So the fuel pump that I pulled out of the boat is actually going to be going in that, because the motor in that one is going to not be making that much horsepower at the moment and all that. So again, for this fuel pump, it's an Aeromotive 1000. Let me get this pulled out. So there it is, the Aeromotive 1000 fuel pump. It's got just the two wires here for the power and ground for that, your inlet. So you got the inlet here and the outlet. So I'll get this mounted in the truck. So because since I ended up changing the intake on this and all that, decided to go with the fuel pump, and with this fuel pump and with the regulator, because the other intake had the regulator on it, and since I'm going to this intake that's on it, I'm gonna have to put so I did find the Aeromotive fuel regulator that we're gonna get mounted. I haven't ordered that yet. That's the only thing I haven't ordered for the fuel system. And the other reason why I'm going to go with this fuel pump is that I do not feel like doing the fuel pump in the fuel tank. So we have a fuel tank sitting back here in the back of the truck because I removed it from the side. I removed it from underneath and I set the fuel tank back here in the back because when I had the carburetor set up in this, I removed the fuel tank from down here and put it back there. I got a 10-gallon Speedmaster that's sitting back there in the back, and with the Holly Blue fuel pump because I was running a carbureted setup in this deal, and I was trying to drive this on the street and get it to pass emissions, and I was also racing it too. So that's why I put the fuel tank back here, and I got all the fuel lines and everything back here. And this fuel tank has all the plugs that I need for the return, all the fuel going out, and I'll fix it where it has a vent tube as well. I'll show you that here probably tomorrow when I do another video, or whenever I do the next video for this, I will show you the fuel tank that I put back there and the system that I have back there in the back. Eventually, and this fuel tank has a sending unit in it as well. I just need to figure out how to wire up this sending unit to the truck so that way the sending unit works. So yeah, we're going to have the fuel tank back here. I just don't feel comfortable. Yeah, people do it. I've seen people put changing the fuel sending or the fuel pump in the fuel tank and having to solder stuff. It would be no big deal. It can be done. That's when it comes to wiring, and especially when it comes to wiring and having to do that for the fuel system, that is one of my things that I hate to do. I do not like to do that because if something happened to go wrong, there will be catastrophic failure. And that right there is one of the things I do not want to do and stuff. So I'd rather use that fuel tank I have back there. Now eventually I will probably put a bigger fuel tank in it because like I said, that's a 10-gallon, and I probably will see if I can find another one that is a 20-gallon fuel tank. So we're going to use that for now, since I'm just going to be cruising around here in Colorado. Just kind of cruising it around here, not too far. Excuse me, jeez. That's not too far away from the house. Now, if I'm going to go long distance, I won't be able to do that unless I have a bigger fuel tank in it. So, no big deal. Like I said, eventually we'll probably be putting a, bigger fuel tank in the back. So I'll show you that on the next video of how that's plumbed up and all that. So that's where we're at for now. The parts, we got some parts here. And so tomorrow I'm going to get tomorrow on this, I'm going to get the heads off, get the head gaskets put on, get the new power steering pump put on, start getting that stuff put together, and maybe start taking a crack at this wiring harness, getting it laid out, and figuring that stuff out. The one thing that kind of stinks about this wiring harness, it is not labeled. It is not labeled of where it goes. Luckily enough, I can kind of figure some of the stuff out. Like this right here is the fuel injectors. That's the coil, or that's for the coils. Excuse me. So yeah, it's kind of, I got to figure that out where stuff needs to be plumbed for the crank, mass airflow, map sensor, and the oil pressure. So I need to kind of figure that stuff all out. So that'll probably be on tomorrow's agenda. Getting that done and getting the heads put back on it and all that stuff. And the intake will be set back on it tomorrow. And we'll start probably tackling the wiring harness, getting that done. And so on and so forth. And then I'll start probably, if we have time tomorrow, I'll probably take a stab at getting this here, seeing if the bracket that I have back there for the blue, or the Holly Blue fuel pump, see if I need to do, I think I'm gonna have to do some modifications to get that fuel pump to fit on that bracket and all that. Then I'll have to run a power and ground, and then of course the inline fuse and stuff for that one. So that way if it blows and has an issue, it blows the fuse and nothing else. So, and then also another reason why I decided to do this fuel pump and have this in the back of the truck, the fuel tank, because before I had a toggle switch, or a kill switch. I'm sorry, I had a kill switch. Excuse me, jeez. So I had a switch that operated the fuel pump, and all that I had that hidden in the truck, so that way nobody could find it, nobody could see it. So that way, if somebody tried to steal the truck, they would not be able to get far with it. Because I also had a kill switch for the ignition system and for the fuel pump, or for the fuel system. So that way, like I said again, if somebody tried to steal this truck, they couldn't do it because it did not have, it was not off the old computer, because I had the MSD ignition system on the sorry. Whew. So, because with the old system, because like I said, I was racing this, trying to drive it on the street. So I had a kill switch that turned the ignition and the fuel pump on and off, and I had those hidden in the truck where nobody could see where they were. So that way, if somebody tried to steal the truck, they wouldn't be able to get very far or even attempt to take it. So, this way, if with this having in the fuel pump in the bed, I'll put the toggle switch or the kill switch and all that stuff in the truck back where I had it for the fuel system. So that way, if somebody tried to take the truck, they're not going to have very good luck trying to take it. So, yeah, so that's where we're at with the truck. That's what's going on, the parts and all that, and so on and so forth. So, and then again, like I said, we're going to work on that for the next few weeks, and then we are going to get back on this. I haven't touched it since I did that last video on the ignition system and stuff. So, like I said, it's probably been a month, and I have not touched the boat at all. So, and like I said, we are getting to that point now that we are going to have to get going on this so we can get it done. So, I'm trying to think what else. I've already got my stickers and stuff for the boat. So this way, if you're, excuse me. So if you're here in Colorado and all that, in order for boats to get on like Cherry Creek, Chatfield, or anything, you got to have your stickers on the side of the boat. So I have all that. I still need to get that put on, so we can get that going, because we're not going to be turning around twice, and we're going to need to go out and do some testing with this and see what we can get figured out, and see if we can get this thing back up and running again. So we're not too far away from getting it running and all that. So we're going to be getting back on that here in 2 weeks, so we can get that done. Because hopefully, like I said, that outing is in June, and kind of the beginning of June and stuff. So, and in between Memorial Day weekend and when that get together down at Lake Meredith is, hopefully they come back and we have water down at Meredith. Jeez, excuse me. So hopefully they can come back. I'd rather be prepared than take that chance that they're not going to be here. So I'd rather it be ready, be prepared, and if they come, good, and then if they don't, then at least it'll be ready for whenever we do go out and start having some fun. And I'm hoping here in the next, I'm going to say 3 to 4 weeks, I can order the spare block for this and the spare rotating assembly. so that way we can get the spare motor put together for this boat. So we will have a spare for it. So like I said, hopefully here in the next 3 to 4 weeks I can get the spare motor for this, so we can get this done. So that way we have a backup plan for the boat. So this way we can, hopefully if we have any issues, which I hope we don't, cross my fingers, we don't have any issues or any problems. And if we do, then we have a spare motor and a backup for when this goes down, because it kind of sucked when this was down in July of last year and we didn't get to finish the season of the lake. So excuse me. And then the other thing I also need to order, I'm getting ready to order my new valve covers for the boat, because these kind of got tore up a little bit. So let me show you. So if you can kind of see, in the picture, the video here, yeah, these things kind of got a little messed up. So these were off the other motor. So yeah, they kind of really took a beating. Excuse me. So I am going to order new valve covers for this and get those in here. And I'm going to get new header gaskets. I'm going to get those coming and all that. So I think that's pretty much it for parts that I need to order for this. I'll probably know more once I start working on this in February. So February 1st, we are going to start working on the boat. Oh, excuse me, sorry about that. I'll be glad when I get over this cold. So yeah, like I said, we're getting close. This is getting pretty close for the boats being done. And then I got some brake work to do on the trailer, because I don't know if I told you guys, the day that blew up and we got back to the house and trying to get this back in the garage, I ended up having a problem where I had one of the wheels locked up on me and all that. So could not get it back in the garage. Now going forward it was fine, but trying to back it up, it was locking up one of the wheels. And come to find out, after I got it in here and tore apart, that this piece here, which holds the caliper and this bolts onto the axle, that this piece right here broke. So it was just allowing the caliper to go up against the wheel as I was backing in the garage. So it was binding up the wheel, locking it up. Kind of messed up the inside of the wheel a little bit, but I'll just kind of clean it up. I mean, it's not too bad, but we'll just get it fixed. So luckily enough, this bracket here, I got a new one, which was on the rear axle, which there was another plate like that on the rear axle of the trailer. So this trailer only has the front axle that has brakes. So this bracket was on the rear because the person before me was going to put four-wheel disc brakes on it, but he didn't. So he had the bracket on the back. So lucky enough, he had this the bracket back there. So I took the bracket for the other side that it came off of, took that off and put it up to the front, so that way I can get the caliper to bolt back on. Now the only thing I need to get, because we ended up losing one, is I got to get one of these. And luckily enough, I found a place that has it. It's E-Trailers that has that bolt. I haven't ordered it yet, so that's going to be one of the other things I'm going to get ordered. And I'm probably going to order an extra one, so that way if something like this happens again, we have a backup bolt for this and all that. So, and then probably what I'm going to do is also for this bracket, I'm going to take some measurements and stuff, and I'm going to order another bracket. just in case if that bracket on that other side breaks or whatever happened like that again, then we have a bracket to put on there. So that way we have a spare, because it is on the driver's side. And we have both brackets on here that are still good, but I want to keep at least this bracket on here. So that way if I need it, then I have it here. I just need to have a spare for the other side. So, and I'm going to get another bolt. So when I'm going to order 2 of those bolts, this way I have a spare for whenever that happens again. So, so that's where we're at with the boat and getting that situated. So, just want to give you guys a quick little update on the boat, parts for the red truck, and where we're going with the red truck. So, that's it. Again, I really appreciate you guys watching. Please like and subscribe. Turn that bell notification on, and there's going to be more content to come for the red truck, the boat, and especially that one whenever we get to it. So, yeah. Again, I appreciate you guys. Like and subscribe. Turn that bell notification on, and we will see you guys on the next one. Thank you.